All right, so today we're going to talk about Module 6, and then um, we can move into Module 7 if you have any questions or anything else that you have on your mind. The quiz today is going to be on Module 6. I have put two multiple choice questions and then one kind of a critical thinking question. I'm trying to incorporate the critical thinking questions. Um, You're going to, they're randomized. So remember, you only have 30 minutes and you can't go back. So if you get the critical thinking question, just don't spend too much time on it because you have the other two problems to do, right? So let's see how that goes. Let's see if there's any complaints. As far as I see, nobody has any complaints. Um, I'm just trying to avoid making it too simple. I'm trying to avoid I'm trying to give you really good feedback of whether you're following, whether you're getting the you're getting the takeaway points, the strong points, the learning points for your future, right? Not just for these tests. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Any questions? Let's see what you have for me that I can look at. About Connect, about the Connect problem where the problem is debatable, I can remove any problems and rescore it. So I still haven't gone back into Connect because so who was it? Was it Ida who sent that request about the Connect? There was a question that didn't seem to be scored right, and then I couldn't find it in Connect. I need to know which question it was to
It,
anyway make my life easier. Otherwise, I have to go through all the quizzes.
it was me. I will send it to you by
Ah,
email.
Liliana, perfect. And then
Yes.
I can just delete it if it's really wrong. And it'll rescore.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And everybody in Connect, I don't hear any complaints. You can see your grade, you can do study attempts. Is everything available still?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just
Yeah,
have
yeah.
an observation. The quiz that is due today have some material that we haven't discussed. More
Yeah,
about
because
like the
okay, I can extend it.
okay, because I was just concerned. I did like a quick review online of the topics to be able to answer it because it was going to expire today, and I didn't know. But just wanted to make sure that everyone that haven't worked on it, it's aware, so it doesn't take
So
them by
so the
surprise.
Connect assignment that's due today is more with the seven?
It's more about the central. Well, it has like half
Oh,
probability
okay, so
and
I
then
mixed.
half.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, 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 exactly.
So I
because
mixed some stuff from
I
module
think
8.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
I can extend it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, any other concerns or complaints? You guys are performing well in the quizzes, so I'm happy about that. Um, I
I don't
just
have
want to
any
make sure you understand
complaints.
if they're too easy. Hmm?
I just have a question. I was doing the exercises from the probability, the one that has like 28 exercises. I don't know how it's called, but it's in the module 6 instead
Homework?
of module 7. Yeah. When I was doing problem 7, um, the number that it's giving me for the second option is not the same. So I just wanted to see if you can review that
So this
one.
one here, homework?
Yeah, I believe it's that one. Since
Is
I have it
is
printed,
it
so let me
problem
open it.
15? I have a comment here.
No, it's problem 7.
Okay, problem 7. Okay. Refer to the above. So I need to use the information above. Look at your three people in order. There are 8 possible arrangements for foreign and domestic birth. For example, okay, so let me just write it down. Let me write it down. We'll go back to it
Thank you.
and let's see what else. Anyone else? Anything in the chat? So Connect is very easy, right? It's a little more, it's just to give you guys some points. And you should do it once you're completed. So yeah, let me know if there's any discrepancy with the material, that it's not been covered by the deadline. The homework is a good overview, I think, of the topic. And the assignments are good applications. The quizzes that I have online are the most challenging, I think. I think those are the most challenging. So those ones here, they're not, I mean, they're not super hard. They're not, brain busters. They're just a little more challenging than the others. And you can let me know about those too. Or because those aren't, graded, you can leave those, for later if you're running out of time. But you should try them and then go back to them once you know a little bit more or are stronger on the material. But at least before the end of the course, you should do all the quizzes. Okay, that'll help you prepare for the finals. Is that the only question I'm getting? Are you guys just, can you tell me about maybe where you're vague, where you need some explanation in the notes?
Can we also discuss problem 15 since we can have two answers? As the note that
Yeah,
you
let's
have
see
there.
what happened in problem 15. What did I do in problem 15? 7, 13, 14, 15. Well, how spread out are their intelligences? Measure the standard deviation. I think this material here. Did I make a video about this one? 15, 17, 18. Standard deviation. Can you guys see me right now?
Yes. And we can still
Yes.
see the screen as well.
You see yourselves?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, because I don't see me. I see you. Okay. You see, okay, so all these problems require the rules for means and variances. This is really part of module 7, but I put it here. Yeah, because I don't have, do I have a module 7 homework? No, I don't, right? I should actually call this module 6 and 7 homework. I don't want to move it, but it will be for next week. Is that okay? I mean, I could do it now if nobody has questions. But we need to finish module 7. Let me verify, because see, module 7 is about discrete and continuous distributions and the rules. I didn't mention any page numbers, did I? That would probably be helpful. So let me show you. Sorry, I'm scrolling through all the material very quickly. Okay, so back to 6 for a second. That's where the notes are. I just never split the notes. I left them as one. That's for the sake of the video, so it flows. Okay, so for me, module 6 goes up till here, page 14. And then, can you see that? So up to the end of the rules. So module 6 is all about the rules. And then the material module 7 focuses on this, probability models, discrete distributions, and continuous distributions. And once I do discrete and I review the discrete and continuous distributions that are important for this course, I do some review. I'm going to try and go slower. And these are really important exercises. These are really exercises that bring you to that aha moment, I believe. And I do review them in the videos. And not all of them, but the challenging ones or the illuminating ones. So this quiz is not so difficult either. And then I begin the discussion of Bayes' rule. I don't spend too much time here, but then I have quizzes applying it. I think it's important, but in the end, I don't have this on the final exam. This is something just really important that you're aware of. How many people got to Bayes' rule? Put it in the chat or let me know. So this is not going to be on the final exam, but it's important that you understand the concepts. Okay, yeah, just tell me if you did get there. Okay. And then see the rules of means and variances. So this is stuff from module 7. So I should probably call this 6 and 7 and then change the pages here to be 7. Okay, Victor. All right, so the problem with this material written on paper is I think it's not as good as the animation, like when I explain it. So it's very important that you watch the videos to understand this, and then you can probably read this better. Because right now, looking at it, it's probably, well, for anyone who's just not inclined in looking at equations like this, it can be intimidating. But it's actually not hard, okay? It's not that hard once you understand it. So really important, watch the videos first, and I step through all of this, and you will even understand this thing that looks very menacing. All right, and I do it using reviewing some of the quizzes. So back to the point of what I'm saying is these problems here apply the rules of means and variances to do them. So you'll be able to do those after. So what I can do is I'll put a note. I will rename the homework module 6 and 7, and then I'll say 7 starts at I think like around here 13. I'm kind of stuck because I'm using videos and I do not want to change too much of the material, otherwise it's hard to follow. But I think that's about right. So if you're having trouble, it's because you didn't do module 7 yet, okay? But we can talk about whatever you want. I can give you an intro. What's really important is understanding the rules and the idea of the probability distribution and how to use it to answer questions about what to expect. So you'll also have a quiz next week on probability. And what I can do is I mentioned it before, is I can add quizzes. Like if you, let's say you didn't come last week or you missed a week, I can put an extra quiz in for the previous one, or so people can finish if they want to finish a regression quiz. Today's quiz is going to be, I named it regression, but I'm just going to make it probability. But next week I can add another one. And what I'll have to do is add more time. So if you're intending to try and make up or do another quiz, you have to stay longer because it'll start at 11:30 and go till 12, something like that. That's what I can offer. I think I put it as regression here. Okay, now that I've said all of that, let me know if that made sense or clarification. I'm going to change the title.
It does make sense. I can re-review the material from module 7 and then see if I still have questions about 15. And if I do, I can just ask again next Saturday.
Exactly, or before.
Oh yeah, I can also
You can
put it on the
contact me
forum.
or in the forum, or if you have something in the forum and I didn't respond, just email me to look at the
Okay.
forum because I have to set up the notifications. I'm not sure why I'm not getting them. And I'm gonna just change the title here. Okay, so what do you guys want me to work on? What would you like me to talk about today? You tell me. How do you feel about the six rules of probability? Most of those you should already know. They should be pretty intuitive. We can do some problems together, or I can start talking about 7.
Can we do some problems for the quiz that's gonna be later? Something just to review.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. What did I put here? Okay. I really like this problem. Share. So you guys did the overview, or you saw the video on the overview. And I try to give you in one page what you need to take away from this material, the difference between disjoint and independent events. And I gave you pictures and I gave you some values, and I wanted you to see that independent events are not disjoint events. That was the main thing. The language in English or in Spanish, it might be confounding because they seem like similar, or maybe in the vernacular they're used similarly, but they're not. Okay, so to be independent, actually independent events overlap, but in a special way. That was the point about this. And it's also covered in the notes. So this exercise here that is like at the beginning, well, it's kind of like in between. How many people got here and saw this exercise?
Yeah, I did.
Anybody else see this exercise? I solved it, right? In the videos, in the class. Is that correct? You saw it in the class. Nobody else?
I believe so.
It was on a video, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a video. Yeah.
And how did you do with that one? You followed it? Did you do this whole assignment? Nobody? Yes? No? So,
Not completely, honestly. I'm
so
trying to balance between materials. Like in my case, I'm trying to understand between theory and spending time in assignments. So I'm balancing that out.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. The assignments will really I think this is a very revelatory assignment, this one here. There's a lot of it. Do you guys want to do any of these or because
Sure.
which one would you like me to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, or the tareas?
In my case, anyone. I don't know if someone has one in particular. Anyone, it will be good to make sure to refresh.
In my case, I'm just still like to try to understand the independent events since to find the probability we just need to multiply.
Yeah, but
No,
only if you're told they're independent or
yeah, exactly. Only if you're told. Yeah?
yeah,
But
only if you're told they're
it's
independent.
yeah.
Let me see.
Or at least to find the intercepting piece. I mean, like you still need to be told.
Yeah. I even like the tareas. I like everything. Let's see, the tareas here. All right. What about something? Okay, so I put it here in Spanish too. Okay, let me give you a different problem because you have all of these. So I'm going to give you something else. How's that? From another source. I have another source.
Okay.
Give me a second. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put a problem up. And I'm going to give you some time to work on it. How about that? A new problem. Okay? Um, where is it? Okay. Okay, this is about alcohol. Suppose we have the following facts. Can you read that? About customers buying alcohol at the liquor mart. 55% buy wine, 40% buy beer, etc. If we randomly select a customer, what is the probability the customer buys vodka? Let's try that. So how would you approach this? What are you thinking?
It will need to be.
So first, I think maybe it's just to verify that it's legit. Maybe first
Okay,
step.
so try and visualize. Yes. Try and visualize and determine if it's legitimate.
Uh, I was gonna say sum up all the percents and subtract the 6% from buy wine and vodka, but uh, it's more than 100% in total. So
Yes. So what's happening there? You have to draw it,
Yeah.
and some of them you have to consider overlap, right? Because the customers are getting
No.
two things. So try and display. Now you have three different items. It's not just two. It's not just A and B. You have V, B, and W. So how will you depict that?
So we need to make like a V diagram. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show it. But nope. It's just gonna be like two circles on the top and then one in the bottom.
Okay, so three circles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, three circles exactly.
Okay, so make the three circles.
Yeah, but they overlap
Yeah,
because
okay,
yeah.
yeah, because you have
Yep.
information. So fill in the
Mm-hmm.
three circles with the information you have and see if you can answer the following questions.
Mm.
You're basically filling in all of the overlapping pieces with the information, or as much as you can get.
I'm stuck in the 50% by beer or vodka.
Okay,
Like-
don't worry. Put that on the side. Just put it on the side for now.
Yeah, I just filled in like all of the overlapping ones, and then when I get to, I'm getting to filling in the individual amounts per beer,
Okay.
per wine, per
So
vodka. It's where I'm struggling.
let's give everybody a few minutes. How about give you 5 minutes and then we'll draw it together, okay? So you should add them. I mean, they should add for every space that you created, they should add to 100%. So if they don't add to 100% in your drawing, then something is wrong. Okay, you ready to talk about it? We're going to draw it together. Do you like this problem? Does it look like the other problems?
It's a little bit more challenging, but
That's the idea, right? That you want to apply what you think you understand. Keep in mind when you draw these things, don't worry too much about the size corresponding to the numbers you put until you understand the model. It might look a little weird. So maybe your circle is too big for 5% to be in a space, but you'll figure that out later. Just use the sketching to lay down the facts as you know them. Okay, so I'm going to project my iPad in. We'll start from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to make 3 circles. Those are the 3 different items. My circles aren't great. Let's see if I can. Should probably use the shape feature, but okay. So there's my 3 circles, and I have information that 55% by wine. So I'll call this W. So this is wine, and I'm going to put 55% out here, just because I want to be clear that that's all of this. Okay. And then 40% by beer. So again, this is beer, and I'm going to put 40% out here to represent the whole circle. Aha, now we have 22% by wine and beer. Sorry, did you guys write that down or take a picture or something of the question so that it's easier? Okay, I'll write it. Well, anyway, as I'm going, it's being written. So let me know if you want me to display the information again. Okay, so 22% by wine and beer. Wine and beer is this. This is where they overlap. I know there's this little piece, but that is with the vodka. But this whole thing, this overlap, the whole thing here is going to be wine and beer. So that over there is 22%. I'm just hesitating to write it in the thing because I do not want to make a mess, I guess. The 6% by wine and vodka. So wine and vodka is this one here. This crossing with this. Okay, so I'll put that on the side as well. So this is wine and vodka, 6%. And obviously it should be smaller, but don't worry about that vision right now. You can fix it to look to scale later. Okay, if you understand what I mean. Wine and vodka. This is V. So we don't know V. That's the question, right? We want to find V, the probability of V, that space. So the next one is beer and vodka, 5%. So beer and vodka is this one here, is 5% beer and vodka. Okay, so there's a 50% on the side I'm going to put here, 50% by beer or vodka. And we'll deal with that in a moment. What's really important is I want this 2%. This 2% is wine, beer, and vodka. Now that I have that 2%, now I can put down these pieces, you see? Let me give you a minute to fix yours if you have to fix it. But that's how you're going to find out what is this piece here that's just wine and beer, no vodka. How much is it?
20.
Yeah, so you're going to subtract. So that piece of information was critical to get this partition. So 20%, then this one is 3%, and this one is 4%. Aha. So now do the same thing for this. And the same thing for this. And good, look at what's left. And we have to assume that these are all customers, so they all bought something. There's nothing outside of the space. They fill the space. If you watch my videos, you know what I mean. But the S space is made up of only shoppers. Okay, the sample space includes all shoppers. So everybody walks out with something. Not just shoppers, but purchasers.
Professor, I have a doubt. Why we subtract again the 2% when it's only because the 2% from the, for example, in the case of the 22, right? Because the 22 means we're beer and wine, but because it's also including the circles, also including part of the people that had vodka, that's why we subtracted.
Exactly.
Then the 22 represent what part? Can you show me?
Remember, it's I'll shade it. So it's all this. Because just try and not see this.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
beer and wine is this. So
Uh-huh.
so that's why we had to be careful at the beginning to put it aside because I didn't want to confuse you. So that's why 20% buy wine and beer, but not vodka. That's what we're doing here.
Right. Yeah,
And
that
that's
was my confusion. I thought
that's
the whole thing was
exactly
22. Mhm.
exactly. Okay, so now you understand. Just because there's two, that's how we did it with two, right? We said, okay, that's A, that's B, and this is A and B. So it's the same thing with three. Okay, so are you guys managing now to get it all? What I'm saying over here about they all purchased because somebody could have gone to the store and bought nothing, but that's not the case here. So can we finish? So what is this one? Just W, just wine. They didn't buy beer, they didn't buy vodka.
29.
Right, so you're going to take
55.
55, right? So 55 minus 20 minus 2 minus 4 is going to be that. So it's very important to understand what the overlap means to be able to do this. So what does it leave? Are you guys almost done? Everybody's getting it? On this side, you should take 40 minus all the pieces. 40% minus 20 minus 2 minus 3.
Mhm.
15?
Yes. And then the other one will be 27. And for that one, I
Well,
just did like
so you have
100
to add
minus.
all of them.
Yep,
And 100 minus all of them. And what do you get?
I got 27.
Same.
27.
So Professor, from the first calculation of wine, the 55%, that should be 29 and then 15, right? From the beer
Yeah, so this is going to be
and
that. And this one is going to be that. And then vodka alone. Okay, so we have to check one thing. We have to check this information. 50% by beer or vodka. So before we do this one, we have to integrate this piece first. Okay? Because we have this was one remaining point that we didn't draw. Are you with me? The beer or vodka. So how will we do beer or vodka before we get this piece missing here? So probability of beer or vodka is equal to probability of beer plus probability of vodka. You guys with me? Minus probability of beer, and vodka. We have to integrate that information before we finish this. That is, they tell you that is how much? 50%. So let's put the information. Everybody's with me or no? Who did I lose? Did I lose anyone? So this was a statement. It tells you 50% by beer vodka. That has to be true of this space as well. So beer plus vodka minus beer and vodka is beer or vodka. This formula you learned as rule number 4, 5, I think 5, 4, 5, or 6. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I gotta go back to be clear. because 6, because I spend some time teaching you independence. I think that's rule 5. And then 6 is this rule. Let me verify. Very important. All right, rule 6.
It is
Yeah,
rule
this is rule
6. Yeah.
6. Yeah. Okay. So this is rule 6. So this is basically the end of what I called. Okay, let's put the numbers in. So what's B? They told us, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be 15.
No. B, the whole B.
Oh, 40.
40.
Good, 40%. Vodka, we don't know. And beer and vodka,
5%.
5%. So we've drawn this whole thing, but we have to integrate this piece, which is going to give us vodka. So what's the probability of vodka?
$15.
So to answer this first question, we could have just done it like this, but okay, so if this is 15, what is this space now? So then it's not true that all of them, okay, so we're going to go back to this in a moment. So we found with all the information integrated that vodka is 15. So now, what is this space? So they don't add to 100, all right?
Yeah, we have
So they don't add to 100.
12% less.
So the
Six.
sample space is, some people went to the store and they didn't buy anything.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yep.
So this is going to be 15 minus 4 minus 3 minus 2 is
6.
6%. And the total is not 100. So how many people didn't buy any of those? So if I put a box around here like I usually do, how many people are outside of beer, wine, or vodka? They bought something else.
5%.
Yeah, because you're going to add 55, 40, and sorry, you're going to add all these. And what did you get for the total? So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. So you guys had said that you thought it was,
It will be 21 then?
Yeah, it's 21.
that didn't buy anything?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 21
So
customers.
21% outside of that. Okay. Good. So then you can answer other questions. Okay. Any questions for me about that? So if I lost you with what I just did, just this piece here that you needed to integrate, which
I just
is
I
all
didn't
that you needed.
I didn't have time to understand how you find vodka, the 15%.
Do you understand now or no?
No. I didn't have the time to understand it. So what do you do
So this is
have
this is rule
vodka in
6.
15?
So this is
Yeah.
the rule 6. So I write it out. It says 50% by beer or vodka. So beer or vodka, beer plus vodka minus beer and vodka. And because of my drawing, beer and vodka. So because I drew it, I was able to see this. And I know that's 5%. So I had to draw it to see that clearly. Actually, no, they give it to you. They give it to you. So this is it. We got beer and vodka given. So right at the beginning, before drawing this, but we drew this because there's more problems. There's not just this one. There's other problems that come. Okay. So if I take off the 5%, the algebra here, let's do the algebra. So I'm going to have, I'm going to put, sorry, let's do it this way. I'm going to move these to this side. I'm going to subtract 40 minus 5 is 35. So it's going to be PV equals 50% minus 35% equals 15%. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
got it now.
okay. I just skipped a step because some people understood, but it's fine to do it. There you go. So that's 15%. So the whole circle is 15%. And this is what I mean about scale. This clearly is bigger than this. This should be smaller, right? But I could redraw this now that I have all the numbers and make it look a little more to scale to 15. So this whole thing is 15. So then take off these pieces. I know that's 6. And the question was answered. So the first question was, how many people buy vodka? I could have done this without the drawing, but I took the time to do the drawing because there's other problems here. Okay, let's try number 8. If you still want me to talk about 7, I can talk about 7. But let's try number 8. So I'm going to put up 8. So you can see it. No, that's not. That's my exam. Sorry. For another course. This one? This one? Here. Okay, question 8. Which of the following statements is true? W and B are independent. W and B are mutually exclusive. Okay, so go one at a time and see which one is true, given the drawing that you have. For W and B, so for wine and beer to be independent, what do we know?
They overlap?
No more than that. To be independent, the overlap is special. It should be the multiplication of probability of B and probability of W. So verify. Okay, so let's check one at a time. Okay, so how would I figure that out? Are W and B independent? So W is this one and B is this one. For them to be independent, so what you do is you just check, you make a claim and then you check it. If W and B are independent, then probability of W times probability of B should be the same as probability of W and B. So now let's fill in one at a time here. So what's the probability of W?
55.
55 was given to you. And what's the probability of B,
40.
40.
right? And then what does that become if you multiply them?
22%.
22.
2,200.
22%?
22.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And now check this one. What's W and B? We did it here step by step and we found it was
22 as well.
22.
They are independent.
At least that's what it's given. And then we
exactly.
verify.
So you verified. So yes. Okay, so that's how you check. It's the easiest way.
Mm,
You check this,
cool.
you check to see if this is true.
Does that mean that that's the only answer to that question? Because we didn't
We can
test
keep
the
going.
rest.
We can keep going. We can keep trying the other ones. Okay, so that worked out very nicely. It's true. W and B are independent. So it means that the people who buy wine and beer buy it in the same proportion as people that buy wine. I don't know if that helps understand, but that that doesn't change. 55% of the group buying both are also buying wine. Like 55% of people buying wine and beer are buying wine.
Vodka.
What wine? Wine and beer.
Wine and beer.
Yeah, wine and beer.
Yeah. Okay.
So of all the people here,
Oh, yeah.
55%
55.
are
Yeah.
buying wine, and all the people here, 40% are buying beer. That's not necessarily true. And I say so. I've explained some examples of that. So the proportion doesn't change in this subset, and it could in reality. I used the example of going to the salon and getting your hair done. And after you get your hair done, maybe you don't have enough money for the manicure. You don't want to spend money on the manicure. So the chance that you're going to get a hair color, if you're also getting a manicure, goes down. That's not independent. It's independent if it doesn't change. Okay. All right, let's try the next one to show it doesn't work. Okay. The next one was, let me go back to the list of questions. W and B, are they mutually exclusive? Well, that's easy to answer, right? Mutually exclusive means disjoint. All of these are interconnected and overlapping. So no, that's false. B
And
is
same for
false.
D, right?
And same for D because they all overlap. So B is out, D is out. Let's check W and V and B and V to see if they're independent. Let's check the other two overlaps. So I'll write them down and then we'll go and do them. W. Okay, I'm going to go back to my drawing. Okay, so W and V. So we're going to check here, wine and vodka. So we're going to see, this is 6% in here. We're going to check the equation, right? So check if wine times probability of vodka is equal to probability of wine and vodka.
For that one, do we sum up the 4, the 2, the 3, and the 27% of vodka, or
Let's go one step at a time. Hold on. So wine, they gave us here as 55. So we have that. Vodka, let me do it like I did last time. Okay, and vodka, we figured it out. That was 15. So if you multiply them, what do you get?
0.0825. That mistaken.
0.0825.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now we're going to verify. You have to see if this is true on this side. What is wine and vodka? This 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
They're not independent.
exactly.
They're not independent.
Okay, that's the easiest way to do it. And to do the last one, beer and vodka. Beer, we were given 40%. Vodka, we figured out was 15. So the answer here is
0.06.
0.06.
and beer and vodka?
5%, so they're not
It's 5%,
independent.
so it's not.
Very good. All right, so the big thing here to talk about was understanding that overlapping is the whole piece here, and whether or not it's going to be it's going to denote independent events. It depends if the multiplication of this one, the probability of one and the other, is the same as the probability of being there itself, and it's not necessarily true. And always, the example I give about the salon or any other instance, 2 events, doing them both at the same time might change the probability of doing one of them in that space. All right. Okay, was that good? You want another one? Okay, yeah, okay, let's do 9 and 10. 11. Okay, there's 3 here. Okay, I'm gonna put it up. I'll leave it for 5 minutes and then we'll come back. You guys can get a break, get some water, write a text or whatever you need to do. So I'm putting the question back. Okay, 9, 10, and 11. So it's because we drew it, we can answer 9, 10, and 11. Well, 9 easily.
So for 9, it would be D, right? Because it's only wine. And that's
Only
what we have
wine,
on
and we
the
drew it, right?
drawing.
29
Yep.
is only wine. Does everybody see that on their graph, on their Venn diagram? Okay. Okay, take your break and we'll get back, we'll finish it. I'm gonna pause the video. All right, so we work with 3 events and considered all their outcomes, and we even talked about people who don't buy wine, beer, vodka. So we drew the whole sample space. Right, so the people outside, just to specify, bought something else.
Or nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Bought or didn't buy. They just say, that's why I want to just call them outside. So they could have bought nothing. It's true.
They just went to the store.
They did not buy beer, wine, or vodka. That's the point. Okay. And good. And so these questions that I asked you, you guys feel a little more confident, I think, from now, it's from when I first asked the questions. I hope you follow. And you see all the possibilities of the questions you can answer. The ones I put here, 10 and 11, we will be able to answer those questions after module 8. Okay, module 8 will prepare us to answer questions like that. Okay, so that's where we're headed. We can even come back here and try them then. If a random sample of in a random sample of 17 customers, what's the probability that exactly 10 of them buy wine? Otherwise, what kind of things were you thinking about if you, like when you read that problem, what were you going to do to answer it? You can just tell me if you just didn't think about it or what were you considering? You didn't know where to start. Okay. Did you not know where to start? Just, yeah, give me some feedback.
I was thinking that something related about the 10 by the probability of buying wine, but there's something missing with the other 7 customers. So I guess it will be like +7 times the rest
Okay.
of the sample.
Okay, good. So we're going to learn how to handle that. Exactly. So there's something missing in what, and how we're going to do that. We need a model. Okay. So I'm going to teach you about a model to solve that. And then, but you do somewhat have the tools actually. So we're going to clarify that. And then this approximation, number 11, in a sample of 300, what is the approximate probability that less than 38% of them buy beer? So there, we're actually going to I'm going to show you how to make an approximation to the normal distribution to be able to answer that. So we're going to fall back to the normal distribution. So the normal distribution becomes really important towards the, after next week. It's pretty much what we're going to rely on. So if you need to develop your skill of the normal distribution, this would be the time because we're going to go back to it after next week anyways. All right. So that's the idea. That's where we're headed. We're going to answer questions like this that are practical, right? You want to be prepared to have product for customers. So you want to be able to know what's the chance, how many will I need, what are the probabilities based on what I've collected. And we need a model. We need to develop our model to do that. And like I said, we do have the tools because we're building probability theory. And then we're going to go back. In certain cases, we're going to use our probability theory to make an approximation to the normal distribution. And then once we do that, or I show you how to do that, you can just standardize and answer a question like that. Okay, so that's for later. All right, do you guys want more problems from me? Or do you have questions for me at this point? See if I can find another problem. If there's anyone who has trouble with the language, let me know because I'm showing English questions, but you can you can make a screenshot and put it in a translator and it translates quickly, or you can ask me and we can translate it together. All right, so let me go through these.
I don't know if it's possible to review the problem 7 from the homework. I know that one was related to something about probability, but I don't think it was
Oh, okay, 7. Yeah, let's go back to 7. I think I said that it wasn't. I have to remember now. Yeah, thanks for bringing me back there because I did write it down.
No worries.
Problem 7 homework. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about it. Okay, so we have the Census Bureau reports 27% of California residents are foreign born. Suppose that you choose 3 Californians at random so that each has probability 0.27 of being foreign born, and the 3 are independent of each other. Let the random variable W be the number of foreign born people you choose. So I have to read 6 first. You chose. What are the possible values of W?
0, 1, 2, or 3. Because neither of them can be like foreign. One of them or 2 of them. The 3 of them can be foreign. Right?
27, hold on.
Or if we go like by the 20, like the space should be 1, then it would be none of the above. Because 0.27 times 3, it's 0.81. So we're missing 0.19.
So you need to make the distribution. What's the answer? It should be C, no? None are foreign, 1 are foreign, or 2 are foreign, or 3 are foreign. Isn't it C?
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you check? Let's see. C. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're just making up the probability distribution. So what are the possible outcomes? So I'm actually going to ask you this on the quiz. So this is important. So what are the possible outcomes? Something like this anyway. So you have to think about all the possibilities. Either none are foreign born, 1 is foreign born, 2 are foreign born, or 3. So 0 to all. I didn't even use the probability right now. Okay, that's just imagining so now I'm going to figure out the probability of 0, the probability of 1, the probability of 2, the probability of 3, that to make the distribution, I would have to figure that out. Okay, so you list all the probabilities, all the possibilities, and then their probabilities for a probability distribution. So that would be C. Okay, now the next part, refer to the above. Look at your 3 people in order. There are 8 possible arrangements of foreign and domestic. For example, foreign, D means the first 2 are foreign. Okay, so you gotta list all the possible outcomes. So what's happening in module 6 is you just have to list everything, and I don't have like a systematic way to do things. And then in module 7 and module 8, you learn about patterns and how to deal with this in a more systematic way, because really, if you're going to look at California residents, there's millions, and it's not just about looking at 3, so we need to work with bigger numbers. So at the beginning, with 2 or 3 and thinking about combinations, permutations, and all arrangements of the possible outcomes, it's easy to write it down. So all 8 arrangements are equally likely. Which of the following is true? So you got to make a list of all the possible outcomes first. Did you do that? You want to take a moment and do that, everybody? Maybe I'll show you how I do it. So you want to start making a list. You want to think about, there's 3 possible outcomes. It can be, so there's, yeah, the 3 things that we're looking at, right? Three people we're going to select. And there's 2 possibilities for each of the people. That's why we know it's 8. 2 times 2 times 2 makes 8 possible. Okay, so for the next few weeks, you can use that kind of tool to figure out how many you imagine. And then it's a matter of, you know that there's going to be DDD, and then there's going to be FFF. So let's just add in an F for foreign born, and then scroll it through. So that's going to be DFD and FDD. Okay, so this is going to be for 1 foreign born, 0 foreign born. Maybe I'll say 0. What is 2 foreign going to look like? It's going to be FFD, and then just scroll through the D. Depends how you define it. Did we define it there? Let me double check. Did I define? No, just wants the arrangements. Okay, so let's continue. So FDF and DFF. So, and that's it, right? So if that helps you make a list, there you go. Yeah, that's how we define it in 6. So 0 foreign, 1 foreign, 2 foreign, and 3 foreign. And those are the 8. Okay. Now, which of the following are true? So now because they're independent, you know that the probability of domestic, if the foreign is 0.27, the probability of domestic is 1 minus probability of foreign, which is 0.73. And then you just multiply. And because these are all the same, because they have 2 Ds and 1 F, it's just arranged differently. Those are going to have the same value. These are all the same for 2 foreign because there's 2 Fs and 1 D. So those will have the same value. Does that help? Item?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
mark?
it's just that the value that is showing for the ones that we have like 2 domestics, it's saying that it's 0.1493 and it's technically 0.1439. So
Oh,
the
sorry,
answer,
it's just backwards. Yeah. So
okay, I just wanted to
it might be
double
just
check.
backwards. I can put the note in there. It's a typo. But anyway, let me check.
Because in theory, if that happens in the module quiz, it's just gonna give it to me like wrong.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I did the calculation right, so that's where I was struggling.
Yeah,
But
no, it's okay. So let's see. I'm just gonna double check 0.27. So this is like 0.27, no, 0.73
times 0.73
to the power of
times
3, right?
For one, it will be
For this one.
Oh, yeah.
0.73 to the power of 3.
yeah, that will be
0.73 to the power of 3 is, so it's 3890.
yep, that one's correct.
For these, it's going to be the same. And it's going to be 2 D's and an F. So it's going to be 2 D's and an F. So it's 0.73 square times 0.27. If anybody has problems with the calculations, let me know. We can meet and look at that. 1439. So yeah, it's a typo. It's a typo.
Okay, I just wanted to double check because I
No
do
problem.
struggle mixing numbers. And I just wanted to
With
make
like
sure that it wasn't.
dyslexia? Yeah, it wasn't you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I
No
obviously
worries.
I don't know, because what I did was these problems were from somewhere and then I copied and pasted them. No, I converted a file, a picture into a PDF, and maybe it converted it wrong, or I've tried to fix it and I fixed it wrong. So yeah, there's a
No
reason.
worries. Thank
Okay,
you
so
for doing it.
no,
and-
thanks for bringing it up, because I like this problem. 0.0532, and the last one is 0.27 cubed. 0.27 cubed. Does everybody know how to use the power buttons on the calculator? 0.27 to the power 3. No. So 0.27 to the power 3, 0197. So I'll just put a note, but that's for number 7. Okay, any questions, any uncertainties?
So today's quiz is only module 6 or it's
Yeah, I
also
just put
okay.
module 6, just module 6.
Okay. I'm just checking if I have any other questions from module 6, but I
Okay,
think it's more module 7.
we can, if no one has any more questions, I can, well, let's log off and go on to the other. Let's go on to a new Zoom, and then the quiz will start at 11. You guys can ask me questions because I'll be here, but we'll be in the other Zoom because I have to record the quiz. Okay, so do you have any questions? Don't be shy. Now's your chance.
But we log in, sorry, we log in through the same link, right, Professor? It's gonna start over.
Do you see it on the platform? Do you see the quiz is at the top where the other one was? It's just underneath. It might not be visible. Let's see.
I can see it, but it's saying that it starts at 11. So
Yeah.
it's already showing there.
Yeah, it'll start at 11.
But I think Alice's question was through the Zoom, if it was the same link.
Yeah, just come back. Yeah. Just
Okay.
come back. Okay, so we'll get off and then we'll go back. We'll see you back here in a second. Okay, bye.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.